You are listening to Level Up Your Gaming Podcast, episode 76, Experience Systems. Today we talk about experience systems. We discuss how they evolved and some differences between them. We also discuss some other ways to manage experience in games based on playstyles. If you'd like to participate in the discussion or leave us feedback, you can contact us at levelupyourgamingpodcast@gmail.com or find us on Facebook at facebook.com/levelupyourgaming. If you like the content and want to hear more of the show, subscribe and will ensure you don't miss an episode. New episodes come out almost every Wednesday. Also, please review, tell a friend about the podcast, or share with your gaming group. Now sit back and enjoy the episode.
I just brain farted.
Welcome to the Level Up Your Gaming Podcast. My name is Jared, and with me today, he'll always give you experience for doing things in game, because I'm clearly not as good at the one-liners as Aaron is. Aaron.
Thanks, Jared. You really bailed me out there. My brain just literally shut off.
I saw the look in your eyes, just like, what am I supposed to do here? And I was like, welcome to your Level Up Gaming Podcast.
And you'll get better at writing the shtick.
The shtick, I was terrible. He'll always give you experience in games because that's how the system was built. Because it's how you progress your character in role-playing systems.
Jared's being cuddled by a kitten.
I am being cuddled by a kitten.
You can see his heart melting.
It is melting because, like, she has literally slid down the couch slowly but surely to, like, get closer to the warmth.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, now she's wrapped around my leg.
Oh, there you go.
It's like, Dad loved me. I'm like, I love you, kitten. Go back to sleep. Go back to sleep.
Once again, the disclaimer, if you do hear loud thumps in the background somewhere in the middle of this podcast, it is because the kittens have arisen and are causing chaos.
One of them is awake, so that's a concern. Because when one awakes, the other one does too, typically.
Maybe the other one just went to go sleep in the other room. I don't know.
Possibility. They are cats.
They are cats. They do sleep everywhere. But anyways, how the hell are you doing, Jared?
Not bad, not bad. Got one more week of going down to Arkansas. So supposedly then I'll have 2 weeks off at home, which are not actually off. It just means I have to go and...
It just means you don't have to travel.
Yeah, it just means I don't have to travel. And then I get to go down there, I think, for like a couple of days. Instead of like a whole week, it'll just be like a couple of days.
Well, again, your job always is ever expanding, ever changing. It's like different. It's polymorphic.
It is polymorphic. It really is because like I don't know. They got me down there fixing the call center again, even though there's really nothing wrong with it. There really isn't. I mean, like I ran all their metrics like here at my home in actual Illinois. That's, if you're wondering what that sound is, that is my cat trying to climb up the back of a couch and not being successful.
And now the other one's awake. Now it is entered.
All right,
play
folks.
Mode. It
Prepare
begins.
for the bang.
But anyways, while they're doing that, we will talk about experience systems today.
Experience systems. Great topic. Definitely a lot to experience, especially dependent on the system. So, I think for this podcast, we'll kind of focus on the D20 and the storyteller system, because those are the two that are familiar with. Because to be perfectly honest, there are so many different forms of experience in game systems. Like a lot of the new game systems nowadays are just like, oh, you want to learn a new skill? I think you've earned it. Let's up that system. Or let's up that skill level for you. That's kind of the new way that a lot of systems are going. Is it's more of a conversation between a player and a storyteller than it is a discussion. Sorry, my hand just got attacked. It's more of a conversation than it is, points and with X amount of points. I mean, so, you were telling me a little bit about the new Milestones system with Dungeons and Dragons.
So the new D&D system that they introduced in 5e was the Milestone XP system. So this is to get you away from the idea of doing the full murder hobo in order to kind of level up your characters, and so you're not trying to kill the shopkeep for 100 XP.
Is he a mild threat or a major threat?
Yes.
No, he's a no threat. So I would take experience from you.
Yes. So the idea is, though, that you're giving your players, after a certain amount of objectives are met, the players will then just level up naturally. It also keeps players together as a group, meaning that your milestones aren't necessarily associated to the individual accomplishments, but to the group accomplishments. So it gives the players, a collective feeling of leveling up. And if, Steve misses a day, he isn't screwed because
he isn't penalized
because he didn't, kill enough shopkeeps that day. And,
or it's like the South Park where they just they killed,
where they're killing the boars in the forest for, several days, or not.
We killed 1 million boars.
Yes. So it's not that weird penalization that you're not there to get the XP. And so I like the idea of the system.
I have to be honest. I kind of like the idea.
I like the idea of the system. It actually is something that I think we flirted with in Werewolf, and the Werewolf system is so the White Wolf system and the Old World of Darkness. The XP system is different than some of the other mechanics that are in the game itself. So, for example, the XP system is like you get 1 for being there, 1 for playing in character, and then 1 for a learning curve or like a heroic.
What did you learn tonight?
Or a heroic action. There's a couple options there, so you can only gain like so much experience in a given night. But the Werewolf system follows closer to the D&D system in that the Werewolf system also had a rank system known as Renown. And Renown was based upon did you kill a major threat? Did you kill a minor threat? And you're trying to earn your stripes effectively.
Yeah.
And we did play through it in that way. And I think later on, we just kind of went the route of the D&D milestone objective.
We did.
I think we just said, you are this now.
Yeah. You've accomplished something, worthy of having a say, because in the Werewolf system, essentially, when it comes to ranks, your first rank shouldn't have any say whatsoever. It's not until your second rank that you actually start having a voice inside the community. And then at third rank, you're actually an authoritative voice. Your voice is actually heard, so it's like second rank. Oh, yay, I can speak. No one's going to listen to me, but I can, at least I can speak at our community meetings, at our town hall councils. Actually, they're called moots, but you know what I mean. I'm trying to make it friendly for our non-werewolf players. I'm not using all the terms. At fourth rank, you're essentially a senior person who can actually start recommending and carrying out, recommending policy, I guess, and start building policy or not just a voice and not just heard, but, someone who's actually guiding the direction of the community. And then fifth rank, you're the one enacting policy. You're the one saying this policy goes and that policy doesn't. And the thing about it is that it's, I don't want to break this off into a deep dive into the world of darkness, because it's just that, yes, that is how military structures are formed. And as a warrior in the army of good, that's military structure. But when you've only got 40,000 werewolves left in the world, the last thing you want is somebody being pissed off. Like, you know what? I don't have a voice in this fucking community. Fuck all of you. You tell me to risk my life and get shot at, but you won't even let me, speak. Yeah, that works in the military because they also give you a paycheck. there are other things, and you sign there's this thing called a contract that you sign with the United States military where you literally hand over your ass for 4 years. And then you, but when you get out, there's tons of benefits, and, people get free education, and there's a great many advantages to joining the military, joining the Werewolf Society. It's like,
there aren't very many.
You will fight, and you will most likely die, and you will be remembered, at least for a while. It's terrible. But we're not going to do a deep dive. This is about experience. So the milestone system, really, I like it, and I like the movement of where role playing as a whole is really going, which is more, hey, is it time to bring your character up a level? It's turning more into a discussion between player and storyteller, and really players almost. Hey guys, is it time to, this party has done such great things. The thing that I really want to start pushing though, as a community as a whole, and I hope that D&D will finally take this step, is, here's the thing that I see a lot in games that I've worked previously. Somebody takes the skill or the class of, I don't know, warrior, but they end up doing all the talking for the group. You know what I mean? And yeah, they fight, and the mage fights, and everybody fights because it's combat, and that's what you do. But when you see the warrior 90% of the time just being a leader of a group, unfortunately, there's no D&D class to be like leader. I mean, Star Wars almost gets there with Diplomat.
You sort of just kind of fill that role in, though, based upon your player interactions. Your class isn't defined based upon, what you're trying to accomplish. So, I mean, it'd be weird because, again, if you're really truly role playing out the character, depending on what your stat line is, would dictate whether or not you sort of enact as the leader. But you could always say that anybody who is, like, let's say your fighter is the leader in this example. Your fighter might be the leader not because he's the most charismatic, but because he feels entitled to it through his strength and brawn. So as long as he's role playing out the brash sort of actions,
role playing out fighting.
Yeah, or role playing out like he is engaging in social interaction. He's just not doing it well. He's kind of crass. Maybe he has a ghoulish sense of humor. There's a lot of ways that you can enact as the fighter being the leader and acting as the leader, but maybe not the most skilled social talker. And maybe that's a fun dynamic that you have within your group of adventurers, is that your leader always starts the problem, and then your diplomat has to come in, your bard, your more socially cued rogue, or somebody else who's got, some charisma, has to come in and sort of save everybody's asses. No, we don't actually want to fight you.
Sorry, he wants to fight you. We don't. And when you are looking at doling out experience, one of the things is that no matter what, even if you have a mage that constantly beats people with his staff rather than actually casting spells, because I'm the storyteller and I keep putting him in that dumb situation. You know what I mean? I don't know my players. I'm not going, you know what? I got a mage. I really gotta make some good spotlight moments for my mage. And literally the only development as a mage is he goes, well, I go, you got an hour of downtime. What do you do? And the mage goes, I eat and then I study. While the rest of my group engages in a bar fight, I earn no experience, but yet I should be earning experience.
You're playing out your
towards
character.
My mage.
Your character's actions are worthy of the experience of trying to become a better mage. But again, that's why the experience system of the milestone system that got introduced in 5e makes sense. It's because it's like, again, it's the collective job of the group as a whole that makes them, you know, more successful and more powerful and all that stuff. And that brings you up. Now, the problem that I've seen with it here, and I was just playing a D&D 5e game, and Mark, if you're listening, I'm gonna point out the flaw that I saw in it was that Mark was kind enough to give us a list of things that we needed to do to achieve our next level. Here's the problem. If I know what I need to do to achieve my next level, everything else that does not surround those actions becomes a thing that I, you know, am probably not going to do or engage in. Okay? And so knowing what I need to do next, I have sort of now been I sort of see the inferiority of doing anything else that might better my character through a role-playing experience. And I now ignore those experiences. I stay away from them because I know, okay, what's next on my checklist of things to do to get to the next level?
Yeah.
And it's the same way with killing dudes. It's murder hobo, but it's by a different name. It's you just need to go.
It's murder plot point.
It's murder plot point. I need to go kill. I need to go find the captive in the dungeon. I need to go become rank 5 with my guild. I need to go do this, and it's just a checklist of things that I need to do to hit the next level. And what would be better is your players organically walk through your story, and you as a GM arbitrarily. I wouldn't say arbitrarily, but you as a GM kind of have an idea of when, like, okay, my players have been level 4 for a while. They just hit this major accomplishment. I'm gonna go ahead and give them the next level.
It's like the Bard Guild. What was your guild again? Weren't you part of like that, the Innkeepers Guild?
Yes.
See, it's funny because like there's a part of me that's like that should not. If he's using his Bard skill to kill the Necromantic King, he should totes get experience and be able to raise his character's level. However, his rank in the Innkeepers Guild shouldn't go up because I, as the Innkeepers Guild, be like, yeah, but can you really turn down a room? Like, can you really be really good at turning down a room? Do you know how to manage an inn? Daily finances? Are your employee evaluations great?
Again, the whole point of the guilds in that aspect was we were just trying to get ourselves, we were just trying to find ourselves a guild to become a part of.
The Innkeepers Guild just had a vacancy.
It just seemed to make sense with the character a little bit. It didn't make, like, so the other guilds that I knew of were like, there was like a fighters guild.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why would I become a pit fighter in that guild?
Probably not helping your bard standing. Yeah, no.
Yeah, no.
Should have become one of the Singers Guild. Was there a Singers Guild?
I never asked about it. I just figured the Belly Cheer Guild, which was the merchants and stuff, like, it fit with the characters.
Oh, so the guild wasn't just innkeepers. It was a whole bunch of shit.
Yeah, it was merchants and other things incorporated in there. So it just kind of fit with the entertainment aspect and felt like it went well with a bard.
Yeah, that does. Entertainers.
But no, I think it always. Again, it just seemed kind of weird that I was trying to move up in that guild, but I was only doing it for the sake of leveling up my character.
Right. You weren't actually doing it to say, this is part of my character, this is part of him.
Yeah, and we had another person in our group that had no desire to have any affiliation with any guild, but one of the milestone achievements was
join a guild.
That everybody had to be rank 5 in their respective guild. Okay, so he only cared about, we had a guild. He wanted to level up and make our guild, something impressive and important. And he didn't have time to do both. Like in the downtime activities, it was either step up in your associated guild or step up your own guild.
It sounded too statistical and rather not. It's exactly what you said. Actually, you kind of hit the nail on the head with the verbiage of it's not organic. It sounded too statistical.
It's not. It's definitely not organic, and it just didn't fit well. And it was just like, well, now all my downtime stuff is kind of doing this. Like I had a desire early on in the game to actually want to like start an inn. So I like asked like how much would it be to purchase an inn and like to start running one, like, and to become a center of commerce in the area. But like later on in the game, I was kind of like, what's the point? Like, why would I start this guild? Like, it doesn't forward the levels of the character, and it doesn't forward the level of the character under the milestone achievements, and it doesn't. It definitely doesn't, do anything else for me. Like I had already sort of lost the thread of doing something individual for the character. But I think that if you're doing the milestone achievements where I don't know what I need to necessarily do, my accomplishment to start my own bar and earn, income for our guild and become reputable through that means would have been useful in the long term, I think, and it could have spawned a bunch of interesting storylines as well, because I could have then had to deal with rabble that keeps coming into our bar, and you can kind of introduce other storylines through it. And there is no more of this idea of like, I know what I need to do to get to the next level. I'm sort of playing the character. I'm just playing the character, and the levels come to me upon greater achievements that the GM, I guess, feels worthy would be accomplishments of the group that would drive down the next level or bring up the next level. Maybe the GM wants to introduce new challenges in the dungeon. Okay, so you could organically say that no matter what you are doing throughout your story, in order to surmount new challenges in the dungeon, I must provide the players a level. Therefore, I must create something that story-wise would make sense that the players will achieve that level and thus move on to the next level.
Yeah.
So I think that's how you have to look at it when you're doing the kind of milestone achievement. And there's not a ton of like, again, I don't know of any other experience systems that are beyond like you're either going to earn a set of experience or you're going to earn, kind of this organic milestone. But I would urge, if you can fit it,
like I can tell you, Blades in the Dark has a very unique experience system. I mean, like essentially, because they don't have levels or anything like that. It's kind of actually. So Aaron, our listeners know for a very long time, Aaron and I have been doing, Aaron, Brian, and I have been doing the detective series where there is no such thing as levels.
We're playing mortals, and so we're just getting experience in the game. Like my character in White Wolf, and if you get about 3 experience a night.
Yeah, runabout.
Sometimes you get 4 if you end the story, but otherwise you get about 3 experience a night. My character, who has been around for a while, and Jared's been doing this thing where you have to carry the experience. My character is about 50 experience. Okay, just hanging around. I do spend my experience and stuff because I level up the player organically based upon the story that we did previously. I spend experience to learn new skills from what I feel my character would have gained interest in the last story. So it shows character growth and progression. They don't necessarily have to be things that help me, like, they're not practical always.
No.
Okay. But I do learn things like, oh, well, we were on the Indian reservation in Jared's Wendigo game. And so I learned French. I didn't learn Ojibwe, but French was the other major language spoken on the Indian reservation. Just kind of extrapolate that down the line. Like I learned.
Actually, it wasn't that one. Oh, that was the Burgon game.
Oh, the Burgon game. We went to Burgon, and that they spoke
because Brian learned level 1 Ojibwe.
Yes. But Brian's character,
Brian
he
specialized in dirty words.
Brian has barely spent any experience since the beginning of this entire experience, and he has like 150 experience.
Yeah, I mean, like if you
across the 3 games, which means like if you're wondering in terms of White Wolf terms, what does that mean? That means he could like start a brand new mage character and be an archmage level like night 1.
Yeah, I mean, like his character for a Star Wars game, his character, if he took it on, you know, where everyone's making Padawans, he'd be a Jedi Master.
That's a good example of it.
I mean, like literally on the council. That's how much experience he's sitting on, or probably just below the council.
Yeah, so we don't have levels in our game. We don't actually have defined power sets either. We're sort of making them up as we go along.
We do, and that's something that I really wanted to talk about was our new, you know, way of doing experience, because I myself have thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'd like the community to kind of take it and be like, that's an interesting way. A lot of our experience expenditure is done by committee. We literally look to each other and be like, you know what, guys? I think that I want to level up this.
Does this make sense? Like, does this make sense for the character? Whenever I say I'm going to buy X dot, I never just buy it and say, talk to the GM and go, is this cool? You know, I asked the entire table, is this like, I'm going to buy this. I think it makes sense because, you know, I did it in this last game.
Yeah. And literally we build it that way. And you know what? I mean, like it might work for your table. You know, it might not work for everyone's table, because some tables, you know, they're a little bit goofy and they're just like, nope. You know, and they might just joke around, but you know, for some tables, we almost do it by, you know, community decision. Like, yeah, that's totally something your character should have, you know.
Or if I feel like Jared has earned a skill, I'll tell him like put that skill on your sheet, because like I feel like you learned it and earned it.
Exactly. It's something, you know, that the characters have done. For example, like, and this is why I brought up the idea of a fighter as a leader. You know, let's say you've really created a fighter and they are just showing a lot of leadership. You know, it's just the player. They're a natural born leader, and they're playing the leader. They're still fighting and they're still beating the crap out of stuff like they should. But damn it, they are being a heck of a leader. Why aren't we doling out skills rather than points as a community? You know, like,
that would make sense. That's a great point in terms of like, if your fighter is going to act as your leader, does your fighter learn to be a little bit more charismatic?
Do they learn? Do I finally say, you know what? You keep haggling prices with innkeepers. It's a weird thing that you decided as a player that your character would have. My character, whenever he walks into whenever he walks into an inn, is always like, they're like, that'll be 5 copper. How about 4? No, it's 5 copper. No, 4. We got like 8 people. Come on, group rate discount. You know, and why aren't we saying, you know what, you're getting a skill? There is an actual D&D skill for like, it's not haggling, but it's like trade. You know, and giving in that an extra skill level of knowing how to haggle people.
It fits into the role-playing dynamic of things. I think that makes sense.
It does. Now, what it takes away from the player is the player's agency to build their character how they want to be built. So what I am not recommending is a complete demolishment of the XP system, because as a player, I need to have some sort of agency on how I want my character to go. You know, I want him to become, you know, Sir Robin of the House of Kildan, who is a renowned fighter. That's my ultimate goal. That's the character I want to play when at the summation of this game, or even towards the middle of the game, so I can at least enjoy being this noble and renowned fighter for a little bit before the game ends. That's a good point that I want to bring up. We should nail it as a topic: character progression, and actually, what do you do when you hit the top? Write that down.
I'll write that down.
So my thing is that really one of the things with experience, what I'm recommending is experience plus giving your players a little something when they do engage in something, and say, experience aside, your character just engaged in 25 battles. I'm not asking you to spend your experience. I am granting you, this one extra AC. Now, it breaks all the rules of D&D. No, you don't get an extra AC until level 13. Screw that. He has literally been defending his team for the last 6 battles. He is learning how to parry spears and knives and arrows, and he's done it for 6 major battles. Well, he doesn't get that AC till level 13. I don't care. This makes sense for the character. And I'm going to gift it to the player, and the player can choose to accept it, or the player can choose not to accept it. You might be like, nah.
This is taking like your milestone achievement and taking it like one step further. This is like player achievement through, it's like almost like a hidden XP system amongst the XP system.
Now, what you'd have to be cautious about is whether or not you are showing favoritism. Does my girlfriend, does my wife play in the game? Does my best friend, the rest of the team, we're all friends, but that's my best friend.
That is why we got rid of the player of the night XP.
Yeah.
That's
totally why we got rid of it.
Because basically what you had to do is you always had to justify why it just kind of round robined.
Yeah, eventually we just said, this is fucking stupid.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Because it's like, it makes everyone else feel bad that they didn't get it, and the same player can get it like 5 weeks in a row, and everyone's just like, motherfucker, you just...
Yeah, because
he bought the pizza last
Then
week.
It feels like you're doling out experience or these special perks to somebody because of exceptional role-playing. Or is it the favoritism side of things?
And even if someone is an exceptional role player, let's be honest. For many years, as a player, I would have never have deserved the exceptional role player award because I wasn't a very well-versed player. I wasn't. I was a storyteller at heart. It's not until now that I feel like I've started earning player of the night for doing particular things that would have been worthy of an extra XP.
We did do for a while nomination.
We did.
XP, which was like if somebody did something so good or so like you'd see it in the game where you went like, that was brilliant. People would go,
and it's great. I actually, I mean, it's not great. I'm actually going to turn it down because if you're sitting there thinking like, because I've seen it at LARPs 100 fucking times, 1,000,000 times, 2,000,000 times, and in the tabletop group who came from LARP, that's how they originally got together. They did it, and I stood on a balcony having a smoke with another player, and him literally complaining that he deserved it, the nomination. And I've stood with people in a parking lot
LARPs,
at LARP.
Though it's so weird because LARPs have so many people.
Okay? Well, no. I'm even talking at a tabletop. So, for example, let's say Bob got it because everyone was like, "Oh no, Bob earned it tonight." He made the table laugh so hard we all farted. And then I go out with Todd for a smoke, and Todd's like, "I did this, and I didn't fucking earn it. Like, I saved the team tonight, and Bob got it because he made everyone laugh so hard they farted."
Oh, that's a good point.
Oh my God, I've seen the nomination thing go so horribly wrong so many times.
But it wasn't like a declared nomination at our table. It was like every once in a while a nomination would pop up. It wasn't every week we're looking for that moment. Like, Jared, you earned it today.
You earned it, buddy. And so really what I'm recommending to our community as a whole is giving out XP at the end of the night, giving out a fair amount of XP. Get rid of if you are using player of the night or nominated player of the night, get rid of it. it's experience literally has to be built on static things. You know, like this character, you know, gets experience for defeating a boar. He gets 5 XP for it, period. With cooperation with the milestone, with or not so much the milestone, with cooperation with spontaneous learning, I guess I'll call it, because you know what, this character did something. I remember one of our players played a class called a Shadow Dancer. It's in one of the D&D books. And literally every opportunity that player had to do a dance, a real dance, they took it. They actually did it. I would have upped the level of that Shadow Dancer sooner than the experience would have allowed the progression, because they weren't looking for the capability of, well, when I hit level 8, I can use my shadow dancing to create multiple versions of myself and completely destroy the team. No, they were looking for it because they played a shadow dancer because they felt that role-playing itself didn't have enough artistic flair, and they were kind of a crafty kind of person and very artistic in nature, and they wanted to play a dancer and see what a dancer does in this environment. You know, for example, I one game I wanted to play a dumb farmer kid who joins a group of adventurers and experience that journey.
Yeah, you told me you wanted to do the hero story, farmer to hero.
Farmer to hero.
Again,
you know?
Character progression. We will talk about it.
Yeah, character progression. We're definitely going to talk about it. Now it's a topic. So what I'm putting forth to the community is give your players something outside the experience zone. You know, and also let your players, for example, be like, man, you know, that he played a shadow dancer and then danced for 6 sessions straight. You know, I'm giving them an extra level of shadow dancer. And if anyone gets upset about that, you know, markate why you're giving this experience. I'm giving this because this person did 7 sessions where literally they jumped in when there was an opportunity to dance and danced and wanted to roll for their dance.
Again, you got to be careful with that stuff
You have
too.
to be careful.
Because there's a serious balance issue that can
There's
end
a
up
very serious balance.
that can end up coming about with.
That's why I recommend
with D&D.
skills rather than levels. Skills, you know, like, I don't know if there is a skill in D&D for dancing, but what the fuck? I'll make one. I'm a storyteller. I'm GM, also known as God Mode. New skill, dancing skill. Let's give yourself 2 levels of that. Gives you a +1 to whenever you dance. Done.
Do you have anything else to add to this one, Jared?
No, that's. I didn't actually mean like done. I've said all I need to say, but no, I mean I want experience to mean something more, and it should mean more than I killed a pig, so now I become a better fighter. So now I get my level. It should mean more. It should literally, experience should be given out in certain times for skills, and it should be for experiences and events, while also maintaining a statistical systems that allows the player to have agency over how their character will eventually. And, you know, I've always played with the hypothesis of I will also take levels from you. That's a tricky one and deserves probably its own episode, because I could probably talk about.
Negative experience is a weird thing.
I will take things from you when you've consistently showed you have no ability to persuade people, but it's usually socially
It's an interesting aside, because the renown system does have a negative renown aspect to it, and technically your D&D system, if you have true murder hobos who are killing the innkeeper, you should take experience away from them.
Well, because here's the thing, you know, you might say, well, the innkeeper, he could put up a fight. If you are used to, as a fighter, always fighting people who just simply raise their hands and go, please, God, don't hit me. When you go up against a guy who is going to draw a sword and has been training against other people who, you know, clash swords, they engage in combat. It's like if you take a street thug who's just used to pulling a gun and getting what they want against somebody who, let's take a member of our armed forces, a combat veteran, and you engage them in a gun battle, I can tell you without even thinking about it who's going to win that battle. It's not going to be the guy who literally pulls a gun, I shoot somebody in the leg, and they always give me their wallet, versus the guy who's literally been shot at by other trained snipers and knows when to take cover and when not to. When to move, when to stay. How to tactically reload.
That makes sense. Again, we could probably talk about
I will take
XP.
experience from you.
But
yeah, that's a whole conversation.
A whole different subject. But anyways, you have
That's all
anything
I got.
else?
That's all I got. I swear.
All right, so that's going to wrap us up for today. I don't know, give us your thoughts on experience systems. Maybe you've kind of changed it. Maybe you like the milestone side of things. I think a lot of people like the milestone now that's been introduced into D&D. But if you play old school games where you're trying to earn and generate experience, how do you do it? Do you generate the experience across your table? Do you do it individually per player? Do players level up at different clips? Let us know. levelupyourgamingpodcast@gmail.com. Or facebook.com/levelupyourgaming. You can contact us there, message us, comment on the episode, all that good stuff. We're also on YouTube, so
If you hit that like button, I'll give you 1 additional XP.
you get one. You can bring that to your GM at your table next time and be like, I hit the like button.
I hit the like button. Give me an XP. Jared said so.
Jared said so. And also, go ahead and review the podcast, share with a friend, share with the family, share with everybody else you know. And that's going to wrap us up for this week. So for Jared, I'm Aaron. Have a great week. And next time, I will not be so weird at the opening.
Have a great week, everyone.